Welcome back to a race that was absolutely incredible. As you can see, there's 55 cars here, and they include pro racing drivers for Ferrari, big YouTubers, small YouTubers, and just general community members. It's absolutely incredible. This is the qualifying results. We're going to start in P25 out of 55, so not a bad position. It could have been better, but I'll be pretty happy with that. It's going to be a long race. We've got 90 minutes of racing to go, and anything could happen. But the thing that did happen at the start was I was on the wrong tyres, because as you can see, it's raining. I'm going to have a bit of an issue on my hands, and we'll get to it in a second. As we start though, do go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments what you think of this race, and especially of the little accident that's going to happen here. I say a little accident, this one was a little accident. I tapped the red Ferrari, but I then get tapped by the McLaren, and it causes a hell of a chaos. Loads of cars went off, and as we rejoin, we're going to be in penultimate place. Only Sparks behind us. Unfortunately, Sparks got taken out, and that led to me being taken out. Seems to be a thing going on here, Sparks. What's going on, mate? But as we're going up, we're going to avoid an action there with the BMW and the other McLaren that have made contact. We're going to go side by side with the Aston Martin going into the bus stop chicane. But as we're going to go in with the Aston, we gain that position. We're going to try and get the McLaren, but we've also got the orange Ferrari going in for that move. Because it's been like a case, I've kind of just tried to take it easy here, and that was probably the best thing, because look at that. McLaren and the Ferrari in front took the other guy out, so it was a bit unfortunate. Made the position but then lost a few. And then here we're going to go side by side with the blue BMW. The BMW is a really nice car to drive. I do like driving this car. And as we get here, we're going to see a little bit more chaos. So we've gone from penultimate place into gaining position after position after position. And at this point, the tyres were probably just about the right tyres to be on, because if you go and watch the other streams of other people, those tyres were hot, and ours were cold. Complete opposite. But that was the wrong move, because you can see here the rain is falling down. It's getting more and more intense. As we're going to go into the right hander towards the bottom of the hill, we're going to see there's a neon car already off, and the pink car goes into it. So this complete chaos. It was intense, and as you can see, one thing that's probably helped me here is I've got my traction control right up to 10. I'm not taking any chances. As you'll see later in the video, it can get very, very tricky, especially in the damp conditions. I mean, this is damp. It's going to get a lot worse. But as we get to the end of lap 1, I'm going to have to make that call. I need to go and get off these tyres. These tyres I've had enough. Need to get into the pit limiter, avoid getting the penalties, because there was a few people that got disqualified because they went well over the minimum speed. And as we come out, I lost about 10 seconds here, because being a content creator, I needed to get some of the replay of that first lap, and you can only save 75 minutes in ACC, so I needed to try and get that first couple of laps to get that extra perspective and see what might have happened in the replay. But as we come out, we're coming out in P3. No, it's not. We wish. We've come out in behind P2, right in front of a Ferrari Le Mans driver, a winner of the Spa 24 Hours and a GT champion as well. But going into the end of lap 2 here, we're actually gaining time on David Perel, and that made me feel like I've actually got a bit of confidence in the car. I'm getting pretty decent, and actually having a bit of stability on these tyres, albeit a whole lap down. Into lap 5, we're going to try and make some moves. We're P34 at the moment. We got the red Mercedes of Webster right up ahead. We almost lose control, but we managed to keep the car on track. And as I'm flicking through the menus, we're going to have that little bit of extra grip. And look at that, just breezing through with the extra grip on those tyres. Into lap 8, we are currently in P31. Blue flags are coming, and it's Rory right behind us. And at this point, you know, blue flags, you've got to move out of the way. And what do? I just go well off the racing line and just give as much space. I didn't expect there to be 2 cars though, so we're given the position through, and we've avoided causing any chaos for the guys up ahead. And this was a story with a race. In lap 10, we're right behind Van Eck here, in trying to just make the position. As I was saying though, didn't want to lose a lot of time. It's a lot of blue flags. and it was a bit tricky because of the nature of the race. But we got the move done here on Van Eck into P30, and we're gaining positions here. The tyres are looking good, the weather is still staying dry, and it looks like there's going to be less rain coming in the next 10 minutes. Into lap 12. You notice the chat there, it got a bit distracting. We've got Brown right behind us, and I'm feeling that pressure, and as I push a little bit too much, I'm going to lose the back end of the car, and for good measure I get a tap. No fault there from Brown, it's completely my fault. I lost it, and it's just unfortunate that I've made a mistake that's cost me a few positions, and we've got another one of the leaders coming right behind, so I'm going to have to yield that position as well. Lap 14, we're P29, so we gained some time, but here we noticed that Edwards in 28th is actually having a battle with two of the leaders, so he's going to have to give room, and I'm going to try and be a bit cheeky and gain that position there as well. As we go in, I've made a little bit of a risky move. I nearly lost the car, but they've lost it, and we've gained the position into P27. Into lap 22, almost halfway into the race, and you can see here that I've got about 4 laps of fuel left, and I'm going to need to start thinking about a pit stop, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm working out how many laps of fuel I need to put in. I don't know if that's litres, I don't know if that's laps, so I'm just playing around with it and making random guesses. I'm going to stick with 60. At this point, I've then got to start thinking about what tyre pressures I want on my next set of tyres. I'm going to go for wets again, because looking at that little radar that I should have checked at the start, it's going to carry on raining. And at this point, I'm still trying to play around with the tyre pressures, and I'm just going to miss my braking point. I'm going to go wide, I'm going to lose control of the car, I'm going to spin, and then I'm going to have to wait for people to go past. I can't just rejoin, but as I rejoin, I decide I need to do some donuts. I've crashed myself again. I can't get the car to turn in the right way. I'm going to have to reverse, hoping that no one's coming. I did look at the map and then rejoin the track. I think this was just about okay. I tried to keep to the left and avoid getting clattered by anyone else, but it's just a pain because I'd done so well at that point to not lose a lot of position, actually gain back from the issues I had at the start, and I've kind of just dropped myself down again. I've lost a couple of positions, but we're still P24, and we see the cars up ahead are actually struggling, but we're going to go in. We need to make our pit stop, and this is going to be hopefully the last stop of the race, and again trying to get under that speed limit. I don't mind if I lose a bit of time there, as long as I don't get any penalties, because that's the worst that can happen. But as we're going to go in, we're going to try and hit the markers on our box. We've got the car just ahead, and as we go in, we're going to try and aim for it, and what do? We just overshoot our box. So we're going to have to wait for the car to switch off, get dragged back, raised up, but once the stop is done, we're going to be ready to go until the end of the race. The 60 was 60 litres, so it's enough for the rest of the race. And as I'm coming out, I'm thinking, what is this Porsche doing? They're pulling to the side, and I realised they had blue flags, so the broiler there just let me pass, and that's unbelievable. Lap 26, we're P29, and we got Lee K right up ahead in P28 and also P27. We're going to go in, and they've actually, I was cheeky here because I used my advantage. They had to get out of the way of 2 cars, and I kind of just snuck in. You saw there that they kind of just weaved back in thinking, oh no, what have I done? But lap 32, we're P26, and we've got a Porsche right in front of us. We're still hoping that the weather's going to get better, but it seems to be getting worse, and in 10 minutes it's actually going to be even more rain. So we've got to try and make positions, but we kind of got stuck behind this Porsche here who had blue flags, but they just kept not moving out of the way, which I thought was a bit frustrating for me. And because of that, as I've gone here, I've tried to catch up and try and get a better run out, but I've done it again. I've crashed, and right in front of Rory, who had a load of people watching the stream. So it seems to be an embarrassing thing that I do. Again, I'm going to have to wait for cars to go past, and this was very, very frustrating. It lost me a ton of time, and it's just one of those that I need to kind of work on, especially at this corner at Watkins Glen. I seem to struggle for some reason. As you can see me there at the top, The chat didn't help. That chat kept popping up and it was very annoying. I kept trying to read and it didn't really help. Lap 35, we are P27 with 17 minutes to go. As you can see there, one of the cars got disqualified, but we've got David Perel right behind us, a professional racing driver, and I'm thinking I don't want to get in this guy's way. He's a lot quicker than me, so I just moved well off the racing line into the gravel area. That wasn't a mistake there, by the way. I intended to do that, just so we know, but we let the Ferrari driver go through and try and see what we can achieve. But by the end of that lap, we got closer to Lique, so by letting that position go, not fighting it too much, we've managed to get here and actually put Lique under a bit more pressure. And as we've gone into this uphill left-hander, they've gone a bit wide, we've gained the position and we're up to P25, so that's worked out really nicely there. But we've got another car behind that's going to give us a blue flag, so I'm going to have to start thinking about giving that position back. And as I almost lost the car, that was actually me doing it. I tried to do that on purpose so we could actually let the blue flag drive. That was another mistake, don't worry about it, I don't make mistakes, do I? But that takes us into 25th. You can see me there blowing in frustration of the amount of mistakes. But lap 38 with 12 minutes to go, we're still P25 and we're going to go up the hill and we're going to have a bit of a moment. We've gone onto the wet patch, the grip really wasn't there. Again, I was trying to read that chat and we've gone into the barrier. Luckily it didn't lose us a lot of time, but the car in front has also lost a bit of time. They must have had an incident, and as we go here we're going to try and make a move on them. They are a lap down, a lap ahead actually, so we are actually unlapping ourselves at this point, and we've actually managed to gain that position. It just showed that I did have the pace to keep up with probably the top 10 to 15. Into lap 43 with 2 minutes to go. This is where things got a little bit dicey for me. The weather got really bad and I've made mistakes. To be honest though, at this point I was just extremely tired. These races are mentally draining. I've gone off into the gravel, caught the grass, and I've actually spun myself again. So again, I had to wait for cars to go through, not be a nuisance to anyone, and try and get back on my merry way. This wasn't the last of it. I mean, you might think, look at this, 2 cars there crashing in, but 2 minutes to go, less than 2 minutes to go, you think, Chunky, what more can you do? But the lap 44, I've literally gone and lost control completely. As you can see, I'm going to go into the section, get onto the curb, it's soaking wet, and I'm going to clatter myself into that barrier, shatter the windscreen, destroy the car. I think the guys at BMW are not going to be happy with me, and I've broken the steering as well, so I'm having to finish the race with a bent steering arm. Look at this, I'm trying to steer in a straight line, but the car's going to one side, so I'm having to actually steer at an angle, having to let people through. Luckily it's cars that have already lapping me, so it's no big deal. Still P25, and that's where I'm going to finish the race. But it was an intense one, but it was a lot of fun. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be this wet. Do go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It does help us on the way to 3,000 subscribers. That's the road we're on. We're on the road to crashing, but also on the road to 3,000. And we're just going to literally at this point try and finish the race. Look at the damage that we've done to the car. But yeah, again, I want to say thank you to Rory for setting up these races. The community is incredible. It's a pleasure to race against a big spectrum of abilities, you know, from myself, who's an average-ish to bad driver. As you can see, I make a lot of mistakes, to having professional drivers and some of the best esports drivers here as well. It's absolute pleasure. I can't really describe how much fun it was until we get to the end of this lap here. Park up the car and you can see people are just there spinning around doing a few donuts. I'm like, turn the traction down to 0 and have a bit of fun. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it while I'm doing the donuts, and do go ahead, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next race here on the channel. Peace out.